Hey there friends, it's Cece here today and welcome back for another video. Today I am sort of redoing a project I did a few months ago. If you've been around for a little bit, you might have seen that I started a Pleasantview 2.0 5 years in the past save file. And originally I started it for personal gameplay because I just love the Pleasantview world from Sims 2 and all the families and all the drama. I can't tell you how many times I played that world back in the day, and it was the first world I opened up whenever I bought The Sims 2 on re-release not that long ago. Like, I just have a connection to Pleasantview like any other, and I think that's a pretty common thing in the Sims community, actually. A lot of us just really resonated with the chaos of it all. So, I made my Pleasantview save file for myself using a buttload of CC. And when I shared it with you guys loved the save file. However, I did not anticipate ever sharing it, but when I saw the reception of how much you guys enjoyed it and wanted to have that in your own game, I was like, well, I don't want to leave people hanging because I know exactly how it feels to like really want to play a save file and you can't. And also, like, the pain of setting it up for yourself is not fun. Like, if you know it's already been done, you know what I'm saying? And so I was kind of reckoning with the task of it all because if you're not aware, finding all of the CC for all of that and linking everything and the correct mods, all that jazz, would be like a full-time job in itself to hunt down every single thing I used. And so I kind of floundered on that save file. I kind of didn't open it because every time I went into it, I felt really guilty almost of like, okay, well, like I want to be able to share this with people, but it's going to be a burden to try and find everything so that way you guys can play with it and have it look exactly the same it does in my save and not have to worry about objects deleting and all that stuff. And so I finally came to the conclusion that it would probably be easier for me to create a CC free version and just set everything up with mods on the back end, like relationships and all that good stuff, to where you don't have to have the mod yourself to play the save file. So that is why I'm here, because I wanted to kick off this new CC free-ification of my Pleasantview save file. Here on the channel, I posted a poll on my community tab not long ago asking if you guys would be interested in watching that, even though you've kind of already seen the builds. But they will be very different actually, and I'll circle back to that in a second. But you guys voted yes, and so here I am. We are, if you couldn't tell, we are in the Brooks trailer park. I built this lot in my save file, and what I did was I just replicated my save file and then took out all my mods. So the stuff that is already CC free stayed, and I'm just adjusting with what got deleted. I'm also kind of stylistically adjusting my save because, I mean, anytime I come to a creative project, I always come to it with a slightly different vision. And while I loved my original take on my own personal Pleasantview save, I couldn't exactly recreate every single thing I did without CC. So I thought I would just kind of adjust the vision, and while still sticking true to the heart of the save file and the heart of what I wanted the save to be. So as I'm working on the kitchen in the Broke trailer right now, you can probably tell I'm definitely going for that early 2000s vibe, which is very reminiscent of Sims 2, and even more so because I did want this save file to be like 5 years before Pleasantview in The Sims 2. So we're going even a little bit more back in time. And also, the Broke family, it's kind of in the name, they aren't exactly living in the lap of luxury. So that also kind of lends itself well to a slightly more outdated furniture style, decor style, that kind of thing. So I did adjust my vision for their house. I also changed the layout just a tad because the living room was giving me so much trouble because without CC sofas, I couldn't find a 2-seater that I liked. And I really only liked the 3-seater couches. But obviously, that was a very awkward thing to put into the space. So in a second here, I figured that out once I'm done cycling through the sofas, and I do build a dividing wall, and that way I can put the couch beneath the window. So you'll see that on the recording here in a minute. But I had a lot of fun with this, and I do find that building CC free is actually a really great challenge for me, because as someone who does own pretty much all the packs, I find that I don't use a lot of the objects. And like, even to this day, I still find things that I'm like, oh, I didn't know we had that. Or I find a different swatch of it and I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen this swatch before. It looks totally different in that color or that texture. So building CC free is kind of a fun challenge actually. And I'm really looking forward to rebuilding the save file. I do finish most of the broke trailer in this video, and then I think off camera I'll just go ahead and adjust the other two trailers, which are meant to be kind of empty, move-in ready. I haven't decided if anyone else will live in these trailers or not, but maybe we can decide on that when we get there in the save file progression, because now I'm doing this with you guys. So that'll be really fun, because if you guys have any recommendations or things that you would like to see added, definitely drop it in the comments, because I'm rebuilding the save file from the ground up pretty much, just starting with the shells that I'd already built. So that's really fun, and I think opens up the door for a lot of different takes on things. Because that's another thing I wanted to do, is I didn't just want to recreate The Sims 2 exactly as it was. I know there are some save files out there that are like that if you're looking for that. But like, for example, the broke trailer in The Sims 2 is just a single trailer on a lot, and there's a few other trailer type homes around it. But I used the For Rent expansion pack to build like an actual trailer park style lot, and it looks very different than how it looked in Sims 2. So I did want to take a fresh spin on things, and it's not going to look or feel exactly the same. It will be adjusted for my personal creative vision. And if you like that, great. I hope you stick around. And if you don't like that, all good. I don't hold it against you. There is a really great save file that I'll link in the description below, because I can't think of who it's by off the top of my head, but they did a pleasantview save file and built like everything to a T, exactly how it looked in The Sims 2. So if you prefer that, I'll link that for you guys below. But if you want to see kind of a fresh take that integrates all the packs, definitely stick around. After the broke family, I don't know which one I'm going to do next. I'll probably do maybe the Don Lothario and the Caliente sisters townhomes, because that was another one I really adjusted with Sims 4 packs. I used the For Rent system to create townhomes so they're all in the same lot. So I'll probably readjust those. But back to the broke family. I had so much fun with this trailer because I just love doing that sort of homey, cozy, rundown sort of vibe where they don't have the nicest things, and they kind of are not like super matchy, like it all feels very lived in. And I had so much fun creating that style and thinking about their story as I created the save. So like, one detail that I had in my head as I was decorating was, you might notice that some of their furniture pieces are kind of like the nicer pieces in the catalog. Like, for example, the stand under the super old-timey TV. It's actually like a pretty nice piece of furniture by Sims 4 standards in terms of the cost and all that. And in my head, I was thinking, okay, well, Brandy and Skip are not the wealthiest people around. They don't really have a lot of money. But I was thinking in my head, maybe when they moved out, their families gave them some stuff to get started with. Or maybe they were able to thrift some nicer pieces. And so that's why you kind of see a mix of a few nicer items mixed with stuff that is maybe not so nice. And another thing I had a lot of fun with in this build was using the Blast from the Past event items. Like, I put the phone on the wall, and I think I used the blow up furniture in Dustin's room. And I just think that is so fun, because that is like exactly what I'm doing here. Blast from the Past. Oh, if you did not do that little online event or whatever, rewards event, I guess is what it's called. If you did not do that in your game, one, I really hope you can still get the items. I'm not sure how that works. But two, basically it unlocked a lot of items that were very reminiscent of early Sims games and very nostalgic items. And it was so great. And so I used a lot of those things to like truly unlock that Sims 2 vibe. And yeah, I had so much fun making things feel a little bit rundown. Not rundown. Really, they're not even run down. They're actually really not, because it's Sims 4, let's be honest. We don't really have a lot of rundown type swatches, but it's more so just like not updated, which honestly, if we're being accurate to the timeline, this stuff would have actually been pretty nice for like the early 2000s. Like this is just what people had. It might feel outdated by today's standards, but this very much was not that bad back then. So I really wanted to capture that like trailer house vibe as well. I looked at so many photos on Pinterest and used some reference images for like the living room and the kitchen. And I made sure to try and be thoughtful of the little realistic details. Like I made sure to add light switches to all the rooms, and I used the, I believe it came with Parenthood, but the nightlight that prevents nightmares. If you turn it around and use the tool mod, you can pull it through the wall, and it actually has a socket on the back of it. For some reason, I don't know why. Like you literally would never see that ever in game because it's against the wall. So I'm not sure why it's there, but I'm not going to question it because I love that, because it looks like a real socket in the wall without having to use CC, without having to use a like gallery custom painting, which I do use those sometimes for like certain little details like that, but they never quite look right. So I was floored when I found that out. I think I found it out because I downloaded a home from the gallery that had that, and I was like, how did they do this? And I copied the item and I realized it was that lamp or the nightlight, and you just have to use tool to pull it through the wall a little bit, and it shows through like a socket, which is cool. So I made sure to add those really realistic details because again, I want this to feel like a real trailer home and that someone actually lives in. So I try to keep it cluttery, but not too cluttery to where it bogs down the game, because ultimately I do want this to be a save file that you can enjoy gameplay in, which I love. I like deeply love clutter. If you're not new here, you know this about me. However, I do recognize that it can make gameplay a little challenging, especially in the kitchen. I do come back to the kitchen and clutter it up a little bit at the end, but I do find that if I clutter up a kitchen too much, it starts to cause issues where these Sims will not use the counters, even if the item is like alt placed, if you know what I'm talking about. So I just had to rein it in, because ultimately I want your Sims to be able to cook and enjoy their kitchens and you not have to scream at your computer every time your Sim like doesn't route properly and all that. So currently I'm working on Dustin Broke's room. He's going to be a child in this save file because again, this is all about 5 years in the past. And I had a lot of fun with his room, just thinking of little boy elements to add. And I'm about to work on his little void critter corner over here, because that's another thing I try to do when I build, and especially for this save file where I want there to be a cohesive story to it and something that you could jump in as someone who downloads the save file and just enjoy it. As I try to think of these stories of these Sims, I'm also, okay, I just side note, but I tried to make these little decals look like stickers that like Dustin put on his wall or on his closet, and I just could not get them to look right. They just kept kind of like floating and they wouldn't move properly with tools. So I think I finally get rid of it, but I was really sad by that because I remember when I was a kid, I would always put like random stickers on my door and my mom would be like, why are you doing that? Let's please stop that. So it just felt very like little kid in his room being a little chaotic. But anyways, back to Dustin's story. I kind of visualized him as being a void critter kid, at least when he's young like this. If you're familiar with Sims 2 lore, he gets into a little bit more not so great stuff when he's a teenager. He works in the criminal career as a teenager in The Sims 2. But he was a little kid at one point in time, and little kids have fun little kid hobbies, and you know, he's just a kid at this point. Maybe in your version of the save, you don't want him to turn to a life of crime. I don't know, but I just picture him as a void critter kid. And I made his little void critter card shelf over there, and I think he has most, but not all of the void critters. I wanted it to seem like he's been collecting them for a while. He probably asks for them on his birthday or for Christmas. And it's like his prized possession because, again, his family doesn't have a ton of money and it is a bit of a luxury to have this stuff. So he has his own little special void critter shrine on the wall. And I think to, again, add to the lore as I'm speaking about it right now, I think when I get to the Dreamer household, because that will be Darren, Darlene, and their son Dirk. And Dirk is best friends with Dustin in The Sims 2 as teenagers. I think I'm also going to make Dirk avoid Critter Kid, and like maybe that is how they got really close and bonded. So I think that'll be a fun little piece to add to their story. Right now, I'm going in and adding some of the custom family photos. This is the one thing that, let me know down in the comments how you feel about it, because I did have these photos from my CC filled save file. And so the Sims in the photo have CC on them. I don't know if that bothers you guys. Frankly, I just didn't want to have to retake the photos because it can be a lot of work to take the custom photos. But, you know, now that I'm saying it, I'm like, it's really not that bad and it would feel more cohesive. So maybe I'll retake the photos. But also it's kind of fun because the fact that they'll look different maybe kind of speaks to the fact that they're older photos. They're photos that were taken years ago and maybe they don't own these clothes anymore. They changed their hairstyle, whatever. So maybe it actually kind of works. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you guys so much. So if you want me to change them, okay, I will. But yes, I really, really love doing those custom photos in all my builds when I'm doing like a family with like a backstory, because it just makes it feel so alive. And how many times have you walked into someone's house and they haven't had a single family photo around? You know, like it's, especially back in like the early 2000s, like, yeah, they would have had family photos like everywhere. One thing that I think I'm about to change, I might come back to it later, I don't know, but the refrigerator, I picked that refrigerator, which came with one of the more recent kits, I believe, because it's covered in like just funny refrigerator things like artwork and magnets and a schedule and, you know, weird stuff like that. And I feel like that felt very broke family-esque, like they would have a cluttered refrigerator. However, I think I do eventually change it. Yeah, see, I changed it to the basic one. And I tried to figure out how to put that calendar on there, but then I got annoyed and just like left it. But because like the way the fridge split, just it didn't look right. But anyways, I did swap the refrigerator out because the one with all the stuff on it just looked a little too fancy. Like it was it's one of the most expensive refrigerators actually, which is kind of frustrating because I wish they created a cheaper refrigerator cheaper refrigerator with a swatch that has those sort of decorative things on it. I know I had a CC version once upon a time, but again, this is a CC free save. So I might try and toy around with adding that calendar piece back onto it, but we'll see, because it was just not agreeing with me. But I just felt like it felt wrong to give them like a $9,000 fridge or something crazy. I don't know, maybe not that much, but it was very expensive. And right now, another piece I'm adding that you might have noticed is these sports jerseys. And I was thinking that maybe this is like Skip's thing. Like he loves, I don't know, soccer, let's say, and he had to convince Brandy to let him hang his jersey in the living room. Like that's like his one piece of influence or something like that. I don't know. Or honestly, if you're familiar with Sims 2 lore, maybe Brandy is the one who doesn't really care about the home decor. I don't know. Because this is another thing that you'll get to decide when you download the save file when it's done and play for yourself, is what kind of mom is Brandy broke. Because I know that in The Sims 2, some people theorize that, you know, maybe she killed her husband for the insurance payout. I kind of don't vibe with that story personally, but some people also think she's kind of a bad mom, because if you look at the furniture in their trailer, Brandy's bedroom is like some of the nicest furniture that you can buy in the catalog. It's like one of the most expensive beds. It's like, it just seems like a little bit nicer, whereas the rest of the house is like not. So it's a little bit of a Sims 2 lore theory that maybe Brandy isn't really the best mom and she's like a little bit too into herself and prioritizes herself over her children, that kind of vibe. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. What kind of mother do you think Brandy is? Are you pro Brandy? Are you anti Brandy? Let's hash it out. So maybe if you're on the anti Brandy side, it's Skip who has actually taken the time to add loving details to their home and make it feel like a place that they actually live and can raise their family. And Brandy's the one who doesn't care. I don't know. These are the kind of things that I think are really fun to play around with and kind of see let the gameplay too even decide. Like maybe if you are playing the save and Brandy is really kind of aloof with the kids and she doesn't really pay attention to them, then maybe that is the story. But maybe it's the reverse in your game. And so she's actually a very hands-on mom. You never know. And I really do love kind of letting my gameplay enhance the story in that way. And hopefully one day I will finish the save file. I will be able to upload it for you guys. And then I'll also be able to play in it and we can see where everything goes. It's just gonna take a little bit to get there, but you know, we're along for the ride. Right now I'm building like a little pseudo baby care area because another thing about the Brokes, if you're unfamiliar, is they have a lot of children. Since this is 5 years in the past, we only have Dustin and Beau, who is going to be an infant. But normally when you start Sims 2, Skip is dead and Brandy is actually just about to find out she is pregnant. And it's kind of a mystery, like who the father is. It's like a whole thing. But anyways, it's supposed to be Skip in theory, but genetically it's like not really like that in the game code. But she's supposed to have like a surprise baby, which is crazy because she lives in this tiny trailer and they already don't have enough room for the 2 boys and she like doesn't have a job, and it is very much a survival of the fittest situation, which I absolutely loved playing in my game back in the day. I love to struggle. Only in The Sims, not in real life, okay? In real life, I'm looking for the opposite of struggle. But yeah, so I set up like a little baby changing area on the dresser because Beau's crib is, or his pack and play really is in the hallway because they don't have space. So it's just like, you know, showing the story of they don't have a lot, but they're making the best of what they got. I also could not resist putting that bulky TV in the bedroom because I feel like that is so early 2000s, like having a TV in your bedroom and it's like one of these big clunkers. Like, I don't know, it just, yeah, I was like, I had to do that. Even though they don't have a ton of money, I was like, maybe they splurged, maybe it was a gift. I don't know. They needed a TV right there. And I'm just adding some finishing touches to the outside. Oh, and okay, yes. Here I come back to finish detailing the kitchen just a little bit, not to overwhelm. But yeah, I had so much fun with this, honestly, and I really wasn't expecting that it would be so enjoyable to build CC free. And I hope you guys like this, and I hope you guys don't mind the like 20-minute yap sesh. I could keep going forever and ever. I will stop myself at some point to spare you, but I'm really excited to adjust this save file and really kind of stretch myself as a builder and decorator using no CC and getting creative with what we have in game and creating something that is a little bit more accessible for you guys. It will still use a lot of packs just because I don't really see a way around that to still create what I want to create, but at least you don't have to go running around for a bunch of CC. So hopefully that is okay with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Definitely leave down in the comments below any ideas you have for the save file and what you would like to see added, any additions to the world, like community lots or details or anything like that. I'm so open to the ideas, and thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to stick around for more. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.